Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing part number 3 on building a 009 scale layout. Now if you're new to the channel and this is the first video you're seeing, I suggest you watch the previous 2 videos on building this layout just to get you up to speed on the progress that I've made. So in part 1 we built the baseboard, and then in part 2 we obviously laid the track, got it all wired up and we got trains running. So now that that's all done, we can begin the fun stuff, which is the scenery. Now off camera I've actually built a lot of the buildings that will be on the layout. So obviously you guys have seen the station building, well that's now complete. And then in the background we got the house and the little shed, that's a Metcalf kit, and then we got the Pico water tower, and then if I just pan the camera around you can see we have the signal box there. So I've got all the buildings, well most of the buildings are completed. I still need to build the engine shed. That's something I'm going to scratch build, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'll probably do that when I actually get a start on the engine shed area, but that will be for another video. But the aim for today's video is we're going to get the station platform made, so we're going to get that painted up and detailed, and then we also might get a start on the ballasting. So this video we're going to start the scenery. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, click on the notifications bell and press all, that way you stay notified for future videos. Anyways, let's get started on today's video. Okay, so to build this platform I'm going to be using balsa wood. Now balsa wood I find is a fantastic material to work with. It's not like super duper heavy, and it also cuts really nicely just with a craft knife or a Stanley blade sort of thing. So that's why I'm using this. This particular one is 6.5 millimeters in thickness, and it's 100 millimeters wide. I've gone with this size because I think it's a pretty good size for the platform, and also the station building fits on this absolutely perfectly. Now when it comes to choosing a size, like a thickness to go for, general consensus is with 009 platforms, you don't want the height, so the top of the platform, to go any more than 2 or 3 millimeters above the top of the railhead. Now that's just what I've been told by other people, so that's why I've gone with the 6.5 millimeter balsa wood. That's what we're going to use. So I'm going to cut this out to size because it's obviously way too long, and then we'll begin making our platform. Okay, so I've cut out the balsa wood to the size. Turns out cutting it out with a craft knife is actually a lot harder than I thought, especially with thicker stuff like this. Thinner stuff you shouldn't really have an issue, but thicker stuff like this, and yeah, it definitely takes a fair bit of effort with a craft knife. But it's all cut out anyway, so the next thing to do is I need to put a edge around the edges here. So for that I'm going to use Slater's red brick plasticard and go all the way around, and then obviously it's going to be painted and weathered, and then once that's done we can focus on the platform surface. Okay, so I've got all my plasticard strips cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue them to the edge here. I'm going to use a bit of this contact adhesive. I find if you glue them onto the edge first, then paint them, it's a little bit easier rather than doing it the other way around. So I'm going to glue them on with the contact adhesive and then let it all dry. You could also use super glue if you really wanted to, but I'm just going to use this. And then once it's all dry, we'll then go ahead and paint it all. And there we go, that's one of them on. So I'll just continue the rest of them just by doing the exact same thing. Okay, so I've now glued on all the plastic card strips all the way around, even on the ends here. If I can get that into the light, yep, as you can see. It's all glued on, so I'll let this dry for around an hour or two, and then we'll go ahead and paint and weather them. Okay, so I've given the edges plenty of time to dry, so I'm now going to paint them. So I'm going to be using Humbrol number 70, which is red brick, and I'm just going to apply it by brush, just to save time with the airbrush, rather than having to mix it up in the airbrush, spray it on, then clean it all up. I may as well just paint it on by brush, just to speed things up. So yeah, we'll use this. I'll probably just do about one coat and then let that dry, and then we'll get on with the mortar wash. Okay, so I've just finished painting it, and to be honest, I'm not actually going to bother with putting a mortar wash on that. I'm quite happy with that as is. So what I'm going to do is I'll let that dry, and then I'll add some clear coat to that just to protect the paint from coming off, and then we'll then move on to the platform surface. Okay, so the platform edges have dried. I've also given those a coat of matte varnish just to seal them in. So now I'm going to work on the top surface. So there's a few things you can use for the top surface, like for example on the platform that my HO scale layout has, I've used filler, so a plaster based filler. For this I want a sort of a more rougher texture, so I'm actually going to be using sandpaper in this case. This is 240 grit sandpaper, so it's perfect for this application. I don't want it too rough, but I want it to be that sort of fine, sort of gravelly sort of texture, so that's what I'm using this one for. So what I need to do is just need to cut that here. I've got two sheets because one won't be long enough, so I'll cut both of these and then I'll glue them down. Okay, so I've got the pieces of sandpaper all cut out, so I'm going to use PVA to stick these ones down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them down unpainted first, and then once it's all dry then I'm going to paint them. My reason for doing it this way is if there's, say, a little bit of the wood showing through like this, I can still I'll be able to paint over it and you won't see that wood. So that's my reasoning for doing it this way. I mean, you can paint it before gluing it on, that's absolutely fine, but I've found when I've done this in the past, painting it once it's already glued down, I find is just a lot easier. That's my way of doing it, but obviously, you know, everyone has their own way of doing things, so yeah, that's how I'm going to do it, so let's get on with it. Okay, so I've put a whole heap of weights over the top just to make sure it all dries nice and flat, and I've also put a bit of non-stick baking paper on as well, just so the bits of wood here, they don't stick to the actual surface of the platform, so that's what that's for. So I'll probably leave this either for a few hours or maybe overnight, and then we'll be able to paint it. Okay, so I've left this for a number of hours to dry now, and unfortunately, I've just noticed that it's actually warped, which is far from ideal. I'm hoping that once it's fully dry, because you gotta remember I only put the sandpaper on a few hours ago, so and PVA normally takes easily 12 hours to fully harden, so yeah, hopefully once it's fully hardened it will sort of flatten out a bit. But what I can do right now is I can actually paint the surface. So for that I've got a lid here of a vehicle, and then I've got some acrylic paints here that I'm going to use. So I want to go for not a dark grey, but sort of like a medium grey kind of colour, or maybe just a bit darker than medium grey is what I want to go with. So yeah, that's what I'm going to paint the surface with. And because I've used sandpaper, once you paint it, you get like this really nice sort of I would say like gravelly effect is probably the right way to say it. So that's what I'm going to do, so let's get on with the painting. Okay, so the platform surface is now all painted. I'm going to let this dry overnight before I really do anything else, but it's come out pretty good so far. Now, classic me mixed up too much paint, so I want to show you what I've done over here. So what I've done over here is I've just marked out where I want my road to go. So here we're going to have the level crossing, and then this is where the station is going to go, obviously. So we're going to have, obviously the platform goes around here, and behind it we're going to have a small car park, and then there will be a slight embankment which will have a bridge here, and then that Metcalf house there and the shed next to it, they'll go here on the top of the hill. So yeah, there'll be a bit going on, but I think it should be a good looking layout. So anyways, I'm going to let that platform dry, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so I've done a little bit of work off camera. It's now the following morning, and the paint that I applied yesterday is obviously nice and dry. So I've added the white stripe along the edge of the platform, and this also acts as the bit of platform that overhangs. So I literally just finished this up, so I'll let this all dry, and then I'm going to give the entire platform one more coat of matte varnish just to seal it all in, and then once that's done, I'll be able to put it on the layout. Okay, so a little bit has changed since you last saw it. In fact, actually it looks the exact same. What I've actually done is I've just clear coated it just to get rid of any sort of glossy glue marks. So this is now ready to be glued to the surface of the board here. So I've already just marked out where I want it to be. And yeah, all I'm going to use is just some PVA glue and put a whole heap of weights on top. So let's get on with that. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry fully. I'm not going to take the bits of cans and other bits off. I'm not going to take them off until tomorrow morning. As you saw, I used a passenger car just to make sure I got the platform spacing right, so that's all good now. So yeah, we'll let that dry, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so it's the following morning, and the platform is obviously nice and dry, it's not going anywhere. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a fence that goes along the back and then obviously down the sides. So we'll go on that side and then also on this side, and to do that I'm going to use this one here, the Atlas picket fence, and that's just going to go, as I said, along the back there. So we'll do that, and then we'll add a bit more detail to the station platform. Okay, so the fence is now in, and I'm very happy with how it's looking. So next job is to add some more detail to the station platform. So I'm going to start by adding some seating. So these are the Pico ones. Now these are from my station on my HO scale layout. So these will be for that one, although I do want to get the green ones, but I'm going to put these here just for now until I get the green ones. So they'll go somewhere here like that. So there'll be one on either side like that, and then the plan is we're going to have light post there, and then we'll have a station name as well. So yeah, but that's all going to probably be in a future video. But for now, I reckon this is a logical place to stop for today's video. Still a fair bit to do, but very happy with how it's all coming out. So anyways, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, leave your comments in the comment section below. I will do another video on detailing the station even further, but that will be for another day. So anyways, I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, stay safe, and of course, have a nice day. Bye everyone.